Tensura What If? Silver Timeline by CBCTEBAS Chapter 25 Greek Pantheon 3. Kronos was angry at his subordinates. No, he was absolutely furious at them. They had won the battle a few months ago, and yet the mood was different from what you'd expect it to be. For Kronos himself dampened the mood of the castle. He has reasons for it. They had won the war, and yet his sons, his children, all escaped and are still alive. The prophecy his father told him forever haunts him in his dreams. More so than ever since Zeus escaped with his siblings. And one day out of the blue one of his subjects came to the throne room. "My lord, someone wants to meet with you." His face contorted in displeasure. He was already in a bad mood, and someone dares to meet him in this situation. "Bring them here," he said with his voice filled with irritation that the subject was left scared. 3 people came to the throne room with the subject of Kronos leading the way. The throne room was filled with guards from the minor gods, as well as Atlas, Iapetus, and Helios. They all look at the trio that went inside the room. A woman with long blue hair. A man with short silvery blue hair. A woman with yellow short hair. The man stepped forward of the trio and opened his mouth. "Greetings to you, King of Titans Kronos. I am called Argent. We have come from a faraway land to talk to you about something." "What crude manners," spat Kronos. "What does a mere whelp think he can dare talk to me like this?" The two with Argent had faces of anger. They hold off from just straight up killing Kronos because of Argent's orders. "We bring you news about the state of your world, and if you agree to us, we can help you with your problem children," Argent stated. Kronos' anger increases even more. A mere insect thinks he can manipulate me into doing his bidding? "Just state what is it you want to say." Kronos let them talk first before passing his judgment of the trio. "We came from a different world from here. We wish to have the cooperation of every world with sentient beings. That is why, if you're willing to work under." "Huh? Working under you? Out of all the absurdities I have heard, that is by far the worst. Men kill that insect." Kronos stood up from his seat and pointed at Argent. Atlas, Iapetus, and Helios all went and rushed to Argent with blades drawn. "You have the gall to even say something preposterous such as being from another world? Do your mockery of me know no end?" Argent sighed. He looked at his 2 companions. "Don't injure them too much, just knock them out." The 2 nodded their head. Not even 3 seconds went and all 3 of the Titans and all the guards in the room are all knocked on the ground unconscious. "You..." Kronos was left so shocked he took out his adamantite scythe and rushed to Argent. "Once I'm done with you, I'll deal with those harlots myself. I'll butter them up nicely for your dying self to see." A scythe made by Gaia that is made of adamantite, giving it status as a legendary class weapon. However, unlike the normal adamantite, this one doesn't have its own will but just a mere weapon. Argent materializes a sword of his own, not his mythical Rakshasa, but a downgrade made of material creation. Its status is legendary grade similar to the adamantite scythe. The name of this sword given by Argent is Grey. Kronos' figure started to blur out and then he disappeared. He suddenly appeared out of thin air in all 3 sides of Argent. To his right, left and back. The one behind him tried to manipulate Argent's time by speeding up his aging process. Although, as a spiritual being, their age doesn't really matter to them, nor can they get old. The 2 on his sides used their scythes to simultaneously cut both Argent's head and torso. With his sword in his right hand, he blocked the one aiming for his head by swinging clockwise to his back, hitting the one behind him as he turns using his momentum. The one on the right stumbles down, while the one behind had a sword wound on his chest and disappeared. Meanwhile, the last one. "You didn't really need to help me," Argent spoke as he looked at the one behind the last Kronos who was stabbed to the heart with a sword. Kronos was dangling as his body was lifted up by the thrust from behind. "I know Argent-sama," Lei replied back as she threw Kronos to the ground by swinging her sword to the side. He then disappeared as well. The last Kronos, the one that stumbled down, started spouting incoherent swears at the trio. He was being forced to remain in place by Velgrin's aura. Argent went to him, kicked his scythe and lowered himself to meet him eye to eye. Argent placed his sword to Kronos' neck. "Don't ever threaten nor insult them ever again. Understand?" Argent said with a death glare to Kronos. His aura was leaking to the entire mountain of Othries. Kronos passes out due to magicule poisoning. Kronos then awakened and he finds himself sitting on his throne. He looked around and the guards and the titans were all there like nothing happened. Was I dreaming just then? Must be because I've been overthinking too much lately. Kronos draw out the conclusion that everything that happened was just a dream. But it was not, like what Argent said before, they couldn't and shouldn't affect the outcome of the battle. Having another threat for Kronos would divide his forces and might change the outcome of the war. Kronos doesn't know, but all those inside the throne room had one thing in mind. I can't believe I was daydreaming while on duty. No one must know this. Fortunately for them, this saved them from realizing that it wasn't just a dream but reality. As the throne room was filled with confusion, Argent's group was walking down the mountain. "Never thought I'll ever see you get angry like that," stated Velgrand as they walked. Yeah, whatever," shrugged Argent. "You were really cool, Argent-sama," added Lei as they walk. "Yeah, Argent, getting angry like that was so cool of you. And when you had that threatening look on your face." Velgrand agreed and whispered the rest in her mind. "Alright, that's enough out of you two. Say. Are you trying to lighten up my mood?" asked Argent. He has been in a bad mood since they left the castle. Not only did his companions get insulted and threatened in front of his face, he had to let the person in question go. He would have just liked to pack the outcome of the war and kidnap Kronos to torture him for eternity. "Well, yes. We were trying to cheer you up, but what we said were also true." "That's right, we were happy that you got angry for us." "Thanks, I guess." The trio finally got to the foot of the mountain. There they saw someone waiting for them. It was a woman, a titaness. It was Mei-Ti. "Greetings to you three," she stuttered. "If possible, I would like to talk with you three." The trio looked at each other and agreed, they didn't really have anything else to do. They changed location far from the mountain of Kronos. "So what do you need from us? I have seen you three in my oracles, however unlike my normal oracles. Fate changes depending on your actions," Mei-Ti said, looking at the three. "Ho, can you give an example?" asked Argent curiously. "If you had left Kronos' memories intact, he would bring his entire army to search for you," she said with a serene expression. "That's too obvious," another one. If you three don't interfere on everything, both on the Titans and the Olympians will win in the end," she said in panic. "Care to explain how?" asked Velgrand. "Yes. Zeus will one day ask for advice from Gaia and will free his uncles, the Hecatoncheires and Cyclops. That will help them win the war," Mei-Ti said. "I guess that development's fine. Why are you telling us this?" asked Lei. "Because this time the fate of the battle is not absolute. If you act on something, the future may well change. Please don't do anything that may cause the Olympians to lose." Mei-Ti bowed her head towards the trio. "Isn't it supposed to be the Titans that you're to be cheering on? The outcome if you three don't interfere is that they would win. Besides, Kronos is a tyrannical ruler that only those that benefit side with him willingly. And you're betting his children aren't the same?" "That's right, I haven't had an oracle into that far into the future. But I'd like to take my chances on the child that Gaia herself took care of." "Well, sure, we won't interfere enough to cause the outcome to change. But we will try meeting with them. You don't have to be afraid for them," reassured Argent. "I already hate Kronos, so I'm leaning on the Olympians as well." "Thank you very much. What happened to neutrality and not caring who wins?" There was a small whisper comment coming from one of Argent's companions that was beautifully ignored. They then went their separate ways. Mei-Ti returned to the castle, and Argent and company went to Mount Olympus. "Say, did you guys notice?" asked Argent as Mei-Ti was no longer with them. "Notice what, Argent-sama? Her soul. Am I right, Argent?" answered Velgrand. "Yes, that one. You don't notice it, Lei, but she has a similar soul to you. You probably don't know, but you look like one of the people that hold fragments of souls," Argent explained. "You are a fragment holder for something that is infused in your soul. It doesn't seem to be a soul, but something similar. Mei-Ti is also a holder like you are." "I am?" Lei brought her hand to her chest and started analyzing herself to ascertain the facts. Once she's confirmed it, she looked towards Argent. "What should we do, Argent-sama? Should we kill her and collect the fragment?" "I don't think it's necessary, like you have less than 6% of fragment. You're not the main body, so it wouldn't matter if you do collect them. But if you're interested, you could kill her after the war. Are you interested?" "I am not really interested in any particular way to kill her. I do have an interest in studying the two of us though, Lei replied. Well then you could just make friends with her then. As they walked, the land before them turned into a face. Are you finally going to meet my grandchildren? Asked Gaia to Argent. Yes, I've seen what your child can do. Now let's see what your grandchildren can do. Argent continued to march. Please be patient with them. Gaia left with those words. The Olympians were currently strategizing for their next frontal war with the Titans. In one of the rooms, the three brothers were looking at a map and talking with their deputies and comrades. A nymph then knocked on the door. They gave her permission to enter. Once the spirit arrived, she started to speak. Someone wishes to meet all of you, huh? Who is it? Angrily shouted Poseidon. We're currently busy at the moment, added Hades with a calm voice. Well yes, but these people forcibly went inside the castle and incapacitated the Gigantes. All of them were shocked with the news and rushed to where the intruders were. They all arrived at the main hall of the castle and saw the trio standing there with the guards lying around them. We wish to spia. Poseidon rushes forward with his spear. Joining him were Kratos and Bia. Velgrund restrained Poseidon down, while Lei knocked out Kratos and Bia. Sigh, look, we're sorry for barging in and attacking your guards. That was a stupid first impression, so here. Argent healed the guards as well as Kratos and Bia. They then all woke up. While you did heal them, you still started with violence. We'll have to remain cautious if that's okay with you. Hades replied after looking at the safety of his brother and comrades. Indeed, we can talk in a different room, but you must excuse us and we will have to make sure you don't do anything dangerous, Zeus added. All of them then went to a conference-like room, with a long table with chairs on both sides. The people present are Argent, Velgrund, and Lei on one side, and Hades, Poseidon, and Zeus on the other. The other gods are standing behind them ready to assist if a fight ever occur. Well then, first of again, I am called Argent. This here are my companions Velgrund and Lei. Argent pointed at the two beside him. We come here to offer our cooperation with your fight against the Titans. The Olympians were wide-eyed, shocked by what Argent said. These trio, one of which easily held Poseidon and the other easily beating Kratos and Bia, were willing to work with them. Hey, that's hard to believe, said Poseidon. I'll have to agree with him there, added Zeus. Can we ask why? And what's in it for you? Hades asked, looking at Argent. Argent smiled. Finally, someone who is level-headed. We'll start with what's in it for us. We are from a different universe from you. We don't belong in this world. We have been tasked with overseeing all universes that the creator Veldanava created. We just want you to work for us once you won the war. Creator. Nonsense. Chaos created grandmother and all our grandparents. In the same way their children, our parents, aunts and uncles, made us and everything here. Poseidon bursted. Then go ask your grandmother, go ask Gaia right here right now, Argent replied. You. Poseidon was stopped by Hades and Zeus. They asked him to go outside and ask their grandmother if it was true. So you say, but you just kicked him out cause he was causing a scene, right? Said Velgrund to the two brothers left in the room. The two brothers looked at each other and had complicated smiles on their faces. Assuming what you said is true, we don't want another tyrant king. So we'll have to decline this offer of yours if this creator is one such tyrant, Zeus said. Well, that's a good point. Don't worry, I phrase it as, work for us, but it's more like, live your lives as you like. But if something weird is happening or the world is in danger, report it to us. Besides, Veldanava actually is the opposite of the tyrant in your image, Argent explained. Though he's a tyrant for throwing his jobs to others, Velgrund said with a dry smile. Hey now. Lei replied with a wry smile of her own. So you're saying is that, you'll let us rule this universe? Hades asked for confirmation. Yes, we have a home of our own. We don't desire to conquer lands, we are just doing the works appointed to us. And that is to oversee all the universes of Veldanava. Lei was the one who replied this time. Once Poseidon is back and has confirmed your claim, we will have a meeting of us only Olympians in what to do, if that's okay with you three. Zeus explained. The trio all nodded their heads. Poseidon went inside the room with a shocked expression. The two looked at him and can deduce that the claim was true. Poseidon asked their grandmother about the trio, and not only did she say that it was all true, she also said that they should be respectful to them as they are stronger than them. Is that okay? Technically she gave them advice, asked Lei to Argent. Well, The whole point was to see their true nature without any knowledge about us, so I guess it's fine. We already accomplished our goal anyway. After that, the Olympians had a private meeting that included their sisters who were on the seat to come and participate. After a long week of debate and discussion, they concluded that there is no harm in agreeing to the work for them, if they wouldn't interfere unless called upon.